Hello, Dr. Naatus. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us and share more of your insights on the future of higher education. Before we dive in, could you introduce yourself, give us a bit more about your background and experience?
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for having me. My name is Mary Kate Naatus, and I have been at Seton Hall for about 2.5 years. And I have a really exciting role here where I am Dean of Continuing Education and Professional Studies, which is a division that I like to say is sort of an innovation hub where we can develop content, we can develop instruction and training in a very fast amount of time, keeping up with the evolving trends that are going on in the environment. So we offer a lot of non-credit upskilling, microcredentials, and we hope that our students, our alumni, and the broader community continue to take advantage of that. In addition, I am an assistant provost, and I oversee the Office of International Programs, which includes international students that are coming in to Seton Hall to pursue degree programs or as exchange students, which is extremely exciting, although it's an interesting time for international students. And the Office of International Programs also provides study abroad opportunities for Seton Hall. So this year, we had over 350 students study abroad and will continue to study abroad in May and summer, which is really exciting for that global immersive experience. And then finally, I'm an associate professor of marketing in the Stillman School of Business, which is your major.
Yes.
So excited to get to know you some more as well.
That's extremely important in these changing times, as all the roles that you're doing is such great work for the university.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Good. As you know, we've been researching the future of higher education using strategic foresight. And with that, we would love to hear your view on the changes that are on the horizon. So with the demographic cliff reducing the number of college-age students, how do you see institutions adapting to maintain both economic stability and enrollment?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I would add that this month I spent 3 weeks out of the country. A week I was in Liverpool in the UK visiting a university partner there, along with several universities from the US. And then I spent 2 weeks in India visiting many, many higher ed institutions, along with colleagues from other universities. So I've sort of been on turbocharge, taking in a lot of new information and knowledge. And first of all, I no matter what's happening in the U.S. right now, education is global. Research to solve the world's largest problems really has to be done on a global level. We can't work in silos as institutions, as countries. And within universities, we can't work in silos as like a department of marketing, a department of biology. I think we need to think strategically. We need to think across divisions. And we need to put students together in interdisciplinary teams to be able to apply the unique insight that each area sort of brings to the table. I think looking at education in a much more holistic manner is necessary, not only for the demographic cliff, but just to be able to remain competitive as institutions, as individuals. So I think interdisciplinarity, having a global mindset is crucial. I also think that the traditional pace at which we move in higher ed really needs to accelerate. The pace that it takes to develop a new degree program often is well more than a year because of the types of processes we have in place, but the world around us is changing in a much more rapid fashion. So we owe it to our students and our university communities to be able to keep up with those change and to robustly prepare everyone for the surrounding world, for where the future's going. So I do think that professional development is one of the answers to, dealing with the demographic cliff. If we as universities can articulate the added value that we provide, right? You're not just here to get a bachelor's in marketing. You can do that across the country at many universities. We're going to provide you every opportunity to develop the skills that are necessary to future-proof your career. So delivering courses like Dr. Shannon's disruption classes. Really,
Yes.
you have to learn how to deal with those
Absolutely.
situations. The job you think you want today is not going to look the same 12 months from now. So being able to think on your feet, I know you hear it a lot, but communication, critical thinking, learning how to use AI, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but learning how to use it to be more productive and to be more creative
Yes.
and to be more, being able to come up with big ideas and then using AI as a tool. These are things that we're teaching in our division
Yes.
of continuing ed and also really across the university. I know there's going to be a new course on prompt engineering in the fall, and I just encourage our students to take advantage of all these opportunities. A lot of them are at no cost to you. So that's one thing. I also, we have a very large population in the United States, but the majority of the global population is outside of our borders. And
Yes.
having just spent time in India, which has the world's largest population, also the largest demographic of international students that are studying in the United States are from India. 1/3 of the students visiting U.S. to study are from India, has over a $10 billion impact on our economy. It also is a way for us to think about growing as there's a demographic cliff within the United States. However, we need to do so very thoughtfully at this moment because there is a lot of anxiety in other countries about if it's the best time to come and study in the U.S. So, again, even though it's a challenging time, I think we still need to think about global partnerships. Maybe for the
Yes.
moment, we think about virtual partnerships, things like that. And I think Seton Hall is a very special place. We have a beautiful in-person community,
Yes.
which is wonderful. At the same time, I think we need to be integrating hybrid and some virtual components, which will allow us to provide services to an additional demographic and segment of the population in order to grow and sort of ride out the demographic cliff that we're in right now. So those would be some of my answers.
Right. I think everything that you've said is just absolutely amazing, and it really does play well for the future of higher education and integrating that technology, especially in this tech-driven and increasingly competitive landscape. So, with evolving the traditional college experience, how do universities differentiate themselves in this world while still trying to meet the evolving student expectations?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And I think it's really important to stay close and to stay true to each institution's mission. So it's something we talk about a lot at Seton Hall. You can see it on the walls
Yes.
as you walk around the university. We see our patron saint, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, right outside the door of this room. But I think that's really important, that we stay true to our mission and we bring the mission to life in each and every class and each and every learning experience that we have. I think one of the good things I hear from students is that they do feel the mission of Seton Hall alive. We're an inclusive institution. We're true to our Catholic mission, but we are welcoming to students from every faith and every background. And I think that's something you could feel when you walk around this campus. So I would say first and foremost, stay true to the mission. We don't want to make any huge decisions that sort of take us in a direction that's not aligned with that. So I also think that we need to continue to provide, perhaps enhance, the experiential learning opportunities. I know that's a word that's tossed around a lot, but really, and again, I know that in the Stillman School of Business, we do it a lot where we provide real world learning opportunities for students where they're working on projects that live outside of the classroom and they even live outside of Seton Hall University. So, for example, working on a marketing project for a local nonprofit, you're dealing with a client. You
Absolutely.
are learning communication skills. You're solving problems when things aren't going as initially planned or when the client brings up a topic that was unexpected or that you may not even be prepared for. So in all of the classes that I teach, and I know a lot of colleagues here at Seton Hall do the same thing, we really try to put students in perhaps uncomfortable situations, but they're all meant to help to build the kinds of skills of resilience and problem solving and critical thinking and people skills.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, those people skills, you could talk about AI till you're blue in the face, but the people skills, the interpersonal skills and relationships will continue to be extremely important for each institution and each university to remain differentiated. So I would add that that's another advantage that I see here at Seton Hall, the broader pirate community, even beyond basketball, is really, really active, really engaged. And I'm so overwhelmed by the commitment of alumni who are out in the field, who want to engage with current students. Yes. They want to give back. So I think that's another way to really be differentiated, to build upon those existing relationships and invite students, faculty, alumni to be as engaged as they possibly can be, to facilitate ways for them to be involved. I think that's something that the Buccino Leadership Institute does well, the Stillman School, and Seton Hall. So I would want to continue to build upon those ideas. And the other thing I would just mention is, when I was in college a number of decades ago now, things were different. Right. You could sort of have a resume prepared, and upon graduating, have a little bit more of a guarantee of a job. Something I learned about while traveling in India as well. Universities there are much more able to provide jobs for students upon graduating. So the situation in the U.S. is a little different. Students need to begin working on day one, not just doing amazing in their classes and getting great grades and learning. They need to be building their resumes and their professional opportunities and externships, internships, job shadowing from day one. And I think that Seton Hall does a good job of building those experiences into the curriculum and trying to open those pathways for students. And I think that's going to determine the success of undergrad, grad, and even doctoral students, because getting a doctoral degree is not an automatic opening for a particular job. So I think thinking about the cost of tuition and fees, this is something that institutions and universities, we owe it to our students to really help to facilitate those professional pathways. So again, hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I love your mentioning of the community that we have at Seton Hall. And I really do feel that, especially in the Stillman School, I do feel that I could have a wide network of opportunities. And I do feel supported by my professors to get that outside experience. But with that outside experience comes that need for flexibility. And we've seen that there's an increasing demand for the flexible, non-traditional learning path. So how could universities respond to that?
Yeah. So first of all, I think keeping an open mind is going to be key for every single student and every single major.
Absolutely.
We may have students majoring in finance, and all they want to do is work at an investment bank, and they have and only one of 10 investment banks, which are sort of the most well known. And I think that we all need to think a little bit more broadly, because a career is never a straight line in one direction, and there might need to be multiple pathways, planting seeds in different directions, sort of not only once you're out of the university, but also throughout your time at Seton Hall or at your university. So keeping an open mind and not missing out on a great opportunity that's over to the side because you're like, nope, this is my plan and this is all I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
I would just share quickly that my career path is like anything but a straight line. There might even be some loops in there. And it did start out with 2 years in the Peace Corps in Central America soon after I graduated from college. And, from there, it opened a variety of doors and moved me in different directions. So I encourage students to not think about study abroad or volunteer work or experiences like the Peace Corps, just as an example, as like slowing you down from your ultimate destination. Because what they do actually is they open up new ideas, new relationships, new ways of seeing things. new languages possibly. So those are all wonderful. The other thing I would say is think about all the additional skills, learning opportunities, credentials that Seton Hall has to offer.
Right.
So, of course, I want to promote my Division of Continuing Education. We have a variety of microcredentials that lead to digital badges where you get to be in a short course with Dr. Andy Simon of our Department of Psychology, who's just amazing, Dr. Jack Shannon, Ruchin Kansal, Dr. Renee Robinson, who teaches a digital content creation class. Think outside of your majors. Think about your career skills as a portfolio. If I'm investing, I want to have a diversified portfolio so that, when something's down, the rest of my portfolio is up. So on a career path, you're a marketing major. It's also good to have skills in personal finance. We just offered a course where students earned a digital badge in personal finance essentials taught by one of our outstanding finance professors for an investment of 6 hours of time and, a focus on a particular topic that's a little bit outside your area. I think it makes you more marketable. So I think that's part of being flexible, thinking about your broader professional credentials as a portfolio that has a variety of areas that makes you interesting. What else would I say? I also think that for us as a division of continuing ed, we need to make our offerings compelling. So we're doing research around, are there short courses we could offer that can help to build over time into a 3-credit graduate class that could count towards your MBA? So there are a few examples of that, but we're moving a bit slowly. So, it's on both ends. We as academic institutions need to be flexible and provide a variety of learning opportunities, credentials. We're an Adobe campus.
Yes.
So that's another example. We have a variety of skills-related classes that students can add to their portfolio. Data storytelling, for example. I just took an Adobe course, and it was very useful, very interesting. So again, take advantage of all of the free or low-cost value-added opportunities that we have and that are available outside of here. And then because college continues to be quite expensive in our country, again, comparatively to the rest of the world, we are more expensive. It's incumbent upon us as faculty and administrators to provide as much value as possible and make sure that as long as students are doing what they're supposed to do, that their opportunities are boundless on the other end, and we're here to support you.
Absolutely. Yeah. With the rise of alternatives in those micro-credentials and the certifications, they're so important.
There's a lot of them.
There's so many.
So many.
Like, there's always something new that I'm seeing that I should be taking. But it's a great opportunity to diversify your portfolio, like you were saying. And with that rise in that hybrid learning experience, how does a university maintain their flexibility and their accessibility, as well as, holding that standard of academic rigor that is needed?
Right. I think there's a balance. You don't want to just willy-nilly create like a zillion micro-credentials. Right. So I think, it's important to take an inventory of the existing skills and expertise that already exist, either within the university or perhaps in the alumni base. Because I've met with a lot of Seton Hall alumni who have very unique skill sets and senior leadership experience, and they're maybe at a point where they want to give back to the community. So inviting those kinds of professionals across industries to provide, guest speaking opportunities, which I'm sure you've experienced in your classes, but then also perhaps providing a master class or something a little bit more rigorous that does lead to a micro-credential is important. The other thing that we're doing is there are a variety of careers that require CEUs or CLEs in the field of law, recognized professional development hours, such as if you're an educator, if you're an accountant, if you're in nursing. So we are working across the university to try to provide those required professional development experiences as much as we can,
Right.
and then to not only provide it to our own alumni and our own students who are looking for those kinds of experiences, but also to the broader community. So I think that's important. And when we're dealing with people who are educators, they're teaching all day, perhaps they're working after school, because I have a lot of educators in my family. I know that the workday in K through 12 never ends at 3 p.m. We need to be flexible. So we need to be providing these types of trainings in a format that meet the reality and meet the sort of life reality of the people that we're trying to attract. So that's where virtual is very important. And I know that live virtual instruction is probably more engaging and you get more out of it than asynchronous. But sometimes asynchronous, when the time is taken to build these types of experiences, it really provides the most convenient opportunity.
Absolutely.
The other thing it does is it allows you to reach people all over the world.
Yes.
Right? So if you're dealing with different time zones, somebody might not be able to attend your live virtual class if it's the middle of the night for them. So I think that the use of every type of modality that we can. We also have a wonderful teaching and learning division here that can really help to provide the resources necessary to build robust, legitimate, value-added courses in all of these formats. So that's the other thing. I would encourage students, faculty, staff, don't get intimidated by the 1,000 plus options that are out there, because sometimes it gets intimidating. In my area, I get emails like throughout the day, every single day, from different educational technology companies that are trying to push their product and their company on me. Every once in a while, I take a call. I took an interesting one yesterday from a company that I won't mention, but they provide AI recruitment support for undergrad admission, grad admission, continuing ed. And the woman in the call, she was really good. She demoed how robust the AI tool is, and they made a fake phone call to me as if I were a 17-year-old thinking about coming to Seton Hall from some fictitious college in Tennessee. And I was trying to be tricky and like ask weird questions. It was really realistic.
Wow.
Even the timing, the tone, it was slightly funny, but not too funny. It was really good. I'm not saying I'm going to adopt it because I can't afford it in my division at the moment, but the types of AI-powered tools that are out there are really, really incredible.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to, leverage what we can, especially if it's free. Ensure that our students are prepared to be able to manage, to navigate, to ethically incorporate these tools into their daily work, whether as a student or out in the professional world, because ignoring it is only going to be to our detriment. So I think it's important to acknowledge it, embrace it, learn to use it ethically, effectively. Really briefly, this is a question that we asked to students on our India trip a lot. Across the country, we visited 3 different locations. And students there were expressing fear that overuse of AI is making us boring and not creative and not human. And that can happen.
Yeah.
So again, thinking about our Seton Hall mission, every institution is trying to develop fully human, productive people. Really important to maintain a balance of the human side and the technology side. So I would leave it there.
It's so important to, find that good balance, because AI can drive us to, be more focused on a team setting by just, streamlining the somewhat mundane tasks. And it's definitely on the rise. And I don't think it's ever going to, not affect every aspect of every industry. So with AI becoming more involved in higher education as a whole, how can, universities make sure that implementing this emerging technology enhances the personal connections that are so meaningful to the learning experience as a whole?
Yeah, that's a great question. First and foremost, we can't put blinders on and pretend it doesn't exist and forbid it. And I know there might be some cases where it might make sense in certain classes and certain contexts, but on the whole, AI is here to stay. Let's learn about it, and let's make sure that our students are well equipped and understand it. At the same time, understanding all the shortcuts that are enabled by AI, and I'm first to admit I use it all the time. Let's think about the way we assess what our students are learning. And perhaps we don't want to assign very generic assignments that are so easily plugged into some Gen AI tool.
Absolutely.
And then some humanizing tool that hides the fact that you use Gen AI so that you can make it through some filter, because that's not the kind of learning that we want to engage in. So not saying that this is something I want to do because it's really hard to do it, but maybe go back to oral exams and oral discussion to try to assess learning. A lot harder to use those kinds of shortcuts that may get in the way of developing the critical thinking skills that you need. So I think in the AI era that we live in, it's incumbent upon educators, leaders, managers to be more creative, to lead by example, and to not just sort of do routine things the way they've always been done, because, we're not testing how well students are able to. I mean, some people are testing prompt engineering skills, but in certain courses, that's not really what we want to do.
Exactly.
So helping students to learn how to use AI tools to get rid of some of maybe the brainstorming part of a project. It can generate hundreds of ideas in milliseconds a lot faster than we can. So thinking about how to use it as part of processes, and then using our own critical thinking skills, helping students to discern which are the good ideas, being able to identify biases that are present in Gen AI results is really, really important. So kind of guiding students through those types of experiments, maybe team activities in class, is important. Giving them the opportunity to recognize the shortfalls, the downside, and some of the results, which sometimes are actually surprising, I think helps to prepare them so they're not going to be overusing it or estimating the quality of the results. I think that's going to be really important.
Absolutely.
And I would also just say, there is a lot of hype around AI. 6 months ago, it was sort of overused as a buzzword, and now it's just everywhere I look, every university is developing a new master's degree in AI and strategic management. So I don't think we have to develop a million new degree programs necessarily, but I think we need to be very thoughtful about incorporating AI, other tools like data privacy, understanding the cybersecurity issues that go along with it, some of the environmental issues that go along with it.
Yeah.
Thinking about the implications of it is really important as well. So I think being in a university, it's the perfect place to try to navigate these kinds of things. I would add that in our division, we do have some microcredentials and short courses sort of built around incorporating AI tools into different industries. So I would encourage you and our students to think about taking some of these courses as well. The last thing I would say about this is, in some ways, AI puts all people on a more level playing field, because the access to information, right from your phone in your pocket it's more than it's ever been before.
Right.
Google was that a couple years ago. Now it's AI. So there is a democratizing effect of this, which is good. People should have knowledge in their hands. At the same time, those who are in universities where they're guided by faculty who have a deep knowledge of it are going to have a much better understanding of how to use it effectively, how to avoid some of the pitfalls of using it, and to continue to develop your mind, your creativity, and essentially your ability to impact the world around you. So I think it's a good thing, but we need to be careful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Everything that you are doing here at Seton Hall is so important with integrating technology and, encouraging students to diversify their portfolio and look for those outside experiences is just so important, and it's so beneficial for our community as a whole. So thank you so much. Thank you for your insights, and we loved hearing from you.
Thank you so much. It was such a delight to be here, and I wish you the best of luck.